Hi. Hi guys. So, I'm sorry this is so dark, but um the light on my camera is super bright, and so you guys would basically be looking at me with my eyes closed all day. So I figured, oh well. Um so I was driving home from work today, and I had this flash of this memory of this woman that I used to work with, and we drove to get food, and her husband called and he was screaming at her, and you could hear him through the phone, and apparently it was a really normal occurrence in her household. And for some reason it still made me really mad, and I kept saying to myself, I would never let anybody treat me that way. And I realized that I do in smaller, less direct ways. And it came into my awareness that, I do love myself. I really do. But I have a conditional love for myself. And I started to think of how many people say that they love themselves but still do things that are destructive towards themselves. And it occurred to me that they may love themselves, but it may be like that conditional love. And I started to think, well, how do I get to the unconditional love? And what I consider that is a place where I'm not judging myself, I'm not living in regret or, you know, nitpicking little things that aren't important. And it just started to really, I started to really think about this and go into this, and I was like, wow, how I treat myself really is a mirror of my relationships. They're all very conditional. And what I mean by that is they have their parameters and they don't really go outside of that. Um, you know, I want to say there's really maybe one person that I can tell anything to and not worry about it. But besides that, all my relationships are very conditional. And so I was thinking about this and really breaking down where this comes from. And I realized that it really is from within me, these conditions, this trying to control things, because I was really unwilling to deal with a lot of issues. Like, anger to me was very scary, because to be angry was to lose control, at least how I saw anger. So I buried it. To be vulnerable was to be out of control, so I buried that. To tell someone my needs or wants, was to be out of control and release control to somebody else, so I buried that too. And little by little, I started burying parts of myself. And through that, I started to lose parts of myself. And at the same time, whilst trying to stay in this control type of mentality, not even on a conscious level, but trying to stay in control, I was losing control of myself because I was giving little pieces of myself away to other people. And I was compromising myself to other people because truly I didn't think that I deserved better, because I really didn't have a true sense of who I was, like who I am. And, little by little, I'm starting to, take those pieces back and to be in my truth and to be in awareness of what my body needs, what I need, what will make me joyful, what will make me happy. And I realized that, through this process, that I am, taking those steps and walking towards unconditional love for myself. And, really being in that place of complete, of just completely just not judging who I am or how I look or what somebody, or not coming from a place of, well, what will somebody think of me? Like, oh, are they talking about me right now? Oh, do they like me? Coming from that place, because I used to come from that place a lot, and I still do, and there's still triggers, and there's still things that take me back to that place, and I have to look at it and say, okay, why am I feeling so vulnerable here? Why am I feeling insecure here? What is it about this situation that's triggering me and triggering these feelings? And I really have to look at that. And what I mean about unconditional love for yourself too is not being in judgment of yourself or your body or your choices that you've made in the past, or choices that you're making right now, that you decide, okay, this isn't the right path for me. Instead of coming from a place of judgment, looking at that, say, okay, this isn't the right path for me right now, and making another choice. Or looking at your body and say, oh, I'm fat, or oh, I'm ugly, or whatever. Instead of that, like looking at yourself and saying, I am beautiful, and then continuing on that path of growing and, continuing that path of growing and I won't even say improvement, but of expansion, and doing what works for you, and really just taking those steps to constantly expand your life and your experience. And if that's through eating healthy, if that's through exercise, because it's like you can look at your body and say, my body is beautiful, but want to make it the healthiest version of itself, so you eat healthy and you exercise. And that has nothing to do with you judging